mSure is a new capability that we're delivering for distribution utilities that's all about monitoring the health of the meters in the field as well as detecting tampers in the field. Okay? So what problems were we solving? First, when utilities install meters and deploy meters in the field, there's no easy way to know if that meter is measuring accurately once it's installed. The only way to know is to send a field worker out with either portable test equipment to measure that meter, or to remove the meter from the field and have it sent to a calibration lab to be tested. And that's expensive and it's intrusive to customers because you got to cut the power. This is a new way of doing it from the back office, right? And I'll talk about that in a minute. The second problem we're solving is energy theft. It's a big problem in many parts of the world, in some parts of Europe, in Asia, in Africa, and Latin America. Energy theft is a big portion of utilities' revenue stream, and they need to recover that revenue. So we're helping utilities precisely detect meter tampering, which is one of the most common forms of energy theft. The way it works is Analog Devices has an energy metering IC, and we've been selling energy metering ICs for over 15 years. And our latest generation has a new feature called the mSure diagnostic system. It's on the chip. It continuously monitors the current and the voltage sensors for any changes since the initial calibration of the meter. Okay? That data that's generated by the diagnostic system is then sent over the utility network to an analytics service, which then processes the data and produces the insights for utilities. It's a set of insights on meter health or meter accuracy, and there's a set of insights on meter tampering, or what we call revenue protection. Okay?
So you're inside the chip, in the meter, edge to the cloud.
That's correct, yes. So to prove the technology works, we did 2 field trials, one in Finland and one in Tunisia. Finland field trial was all about accuracy monitoring, and the Tunisia field trial was about tamper detection. So here's some pictures of the meters that are installed in a variety of residential and commercial environments. If you look on the right, you see a snapshot of our user interface. The green line represents the accuracy of the meter over time, and the vertical axis represents, accuracy, with the limits being 0.5 to represent a class 0.5 meter. You can see that when this meter was installed, and it started measuring accurately at 0, and it maintained its accuracy over a few months. That's exactly the result you'd expect to get with an accurate meter. So here we're just testing out the system to make sure it works. On the bottom, we have a snapshot of the UI from a meter that was artificially aged to simulate an event that would cause the meter to go outside of its accuracy limits. So it was done once at installation time, and then again, the DSO performed this like 3 months later just to see if it was working, and it did. Next, as part of a 1-year field trial, we implemented in 2 phases. Phase 1 was 3 months, and we installed 40 meters in the field. After 3 months, 20 meters were uninstalled and sent to a calibration lab to be measured. And the goal was to make sure that the analytics service could be precise enough to be used for meter sample testing. And the goal was 0.5%. And it turned out that when all 20 meters were measured at the calibration lab, they were within 0.1% of the results from the analytics service. So that was considered a really good result. Next, we did phase 2 of the field trial, which was to simulate aging of the meter. So we wanted to simulate 10 years of meter lifetime. And the typical way of doing that is basically to put the meters in an oven, in a test environment called HTOL, or high temperature over life. So they were put in an oven to represent 10 years of lifetime. This was for 8 months. And at the end of the field trial, we wanted to track the drift of the meters. They did drift, but not by much. On average, it was minus 0.05%. And again, Energy Analytics Studio tracked that drift to within 0.1%. So that was considered a good result and considered acceptable to be used for meter sample testing. Next, we talk about the field trial in Tunisia. And this was all about energy theft detection, right? Installed 50 of these meters in the field in a high theft district called Naboul. And we used proactive methods to detect tampering. So what that means is, instead of waiting for, say, end customers to tamper with these meters, we had an expert field worker go out and do the tampering the way tampering is done in Tunisia. And out of the 50 meters, 37 tampers were applied. And of the 37, the mSure solution detected 36 of the 37 detectable tampers. So it was quite a positive result. And you can see here the type of tampers that are detectable by the solution. The common ones are the bypass tampers, and the one that's very difficult to detect using conventional methods is the double bypass tamper, where you're bypassing the live and the neutral channel of the meter with the same size, impedance, length wire to try to fool the meter, right? So, but this mSure solution, because of the way it works, will detect that type of tamper. So this is a very powerful tool for distribution utilities to detect energy theft and recover revenue from energy theft. This meter is from our partner, Elgama Electronica, a Lithuanian meter company. And this meter has been deployed as part of a pilot in the Ukraine at the largest utility, DTEC. And at Enlit Europe in Frankfurt, we are showing the results of this field pilot.